Warning: the following video was made before Player Core 2 came out for Pathfinder 2e, and so uses some options from before the Pathfinder Remaster project took effect. This build may need some slight adjustments after Player Core 2 comes out. Hello YouTube and welcome to Prime Productions. I'm here to help enhance your tabletop gaming experience. So, if you've been keeping up with Paizo news as of the posting of this video, you'll know that Paizo recently confirmed that Player Core 2 will have a new versatile heritage called dragonblood, which will allow you to make a dragon person. And yeah, a lot of fans are really happy about that. Dragons are popular, and a lot of players want to play dragon people in games. I know I have a few friends who really do. But as I got thinking of this announcement, I realized something. You could already play a dragon-like character. Sure, maybe they weren't called dragonblood, but it was possible. Now, if you're still happy about this dragonblood versatile heritage, I'm not trying to take that away from you. Be happy about it, by all means. I'm just saying you don't need to wait for the Player Core 2 book to play a character like that. So, over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to show you 3 builds I've come up with to play a draconic character. Now, just like my previous video series where I made a bunch of different anime-style swordsmen, I'm going to have a few criteria that I'm going to lay down just so we're all on the same page about what defines a draconic character. The first criterion is that our draconic character needs to be, well, dragon-looking. I know we could just take a human and reflavor them to be dragon-looking, but I want someone who canonically looks like a dragon. So I want our character to have a draconic or at least reptilian appearance, rules as written. The second criterion is that they have to be okay in melee combat. Dragons are big, powerful melee combatants, and I want to represent that. Now, these builds don't need to be combat monsters, but I don't want them folding like a cheap suit when hit with a single melee attack. For that reason, I'm probably not going to go with the draconic sorcerer bloodline or anything like that. Lastly, I want to make sure the build has all the traditional draconic features. That is to say, I want a natural weapon, or at least something that could be mistaken for a natural weapon. Also, I want a breath weapon or breath weapon-like ability, and the ability to fly, preferably with wings. Now, one last thing before we get started. I've come up with 3 ancestries and 3 class builds for each of these draconic characters, and they are kinda interchangeable. So when all 3 of these videos are out, you can mostly mix and match the ancestries and classes to make the character you want. I'm going to make some choices here just for the sake of a cohesive video, but I want you to know that there is freedom to change it up as you see fit. Okay, so let's get started. As with all builds in Pathfinder 2, we build a character using the ABCs of character creation, and A stands for ancestry. Now to start off, I actually have a bit of a choice. See, the initial idea I had for ancestry was to take the Strix ancestry. For those who don't know, Strix are essentially harpy people who have wings, but player character Strix do not start off with the ability to fly because that would be too powerful at level 1. Now, Strix don't look like dragons, so I'd have to take a heritage, custom mixed heritage for lizard folk. Custom mixed heritage lets us mix 2 ancestries and take the ancestry feats for either. This gives us, theoretically at least, the body shape of a harpy but the scales of a lizard folk, and that would presumably turn our feathery wings into reptilian ones. Now, this would let us get the Strix ancestry feat that gives us a permanent fly speed at level 13. There are other ancestries that gain fly speeds, but not until level 17, and by then you only have a few levels to enjoy it. But the Strix ancestry is rare, and custom mixed heritage is an optional rule, so your GM might not allow one or both. So instead, I'm just going to choose to be a straight-up lizard folk, or Irukshi as they call themselves. This satisfies our criterion of having a reptilian appearance. Your lizard folk heritage is really up to you. Cloud Leaper lizard folk have skin folds which let them slow fall, which is kinda like having wings. You could also gain a swim speed with the wetlands lizard folk, or you could simulate a frightening draconic presence with the frilled lizard folk, which makes you better at intimidation. The choice is yours. For the ancestry feat, I'm going to want to grab Sharp Fangs, which gives our dragon a D8 bite attack. This will work fine with our class abilities later, and while it isn't as damaging as a greatsword or something, you don't drop it when you fall unconscious and it can't be disarmed, so that's a plus. Also, this satisfies my requirement for having a natural attack. Lizard folk normally get a bonus to strength and wisdom and a penalty to intelligence, but I'm just going to go with the alternate build rules and give them a bonus to 2 ability scores and a penalty to none, and I will choose strength and dexterity. For background, you can go with whatever you want. Personally, I'm going to choose Pathfinder Hopeful. This gives us a bonus to Constitution or Intelligence. I'll choose Constitution. Also, it gives us a free attribute boost. I'll go with Strength. The background gives us 2 skills, the Society skill and the Pathfinder Society lore skill. And it also gives out a skill feat, and that is additional lore. I'm going to choose Draconic lore, as I assume our character is either a bit of a dragon fanboy or a dragon slayer. For our class, I'm going to choose Barbarian with the Dragon Instinct. This gives us a bonus to Strength, which is always nice. Now, as a Dragon Instinct Barbarian, we choose the type of dragon we want to emulate, which will likely change when Player Core 2 comes out, but for now, just pick your favorite breath weapon type. When you rage, your melee attacks have the option of dealing either 2 extra normal damage or 4 damage of your chosen type. You also have some edicts and anathemas to follow. There's some choices to be made there, but they don't particularly matter to the mechanics of this build. You also get a class feat at level 1, pick your favorite. Draconic Arrogance gives you a bonus against some mental effects. Raging Intimidation lets you intimidate while raging, and there's the always popular Sudden Charge. Lastly, Barbarians get trained in the Athletic skill and an additional 3+ int modifier other skills. Those are up to you. Barbarians also gain a slew of other things that they are trained or expert in. I will put them up on screen now. And of course, Barbarians are great in melee combat, so this satisfies our requirement to be at least okay in melee. All that's left for the level 1 character is to hand out attribute boosts to 4 of our attributes, so 1 to Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution. The last one can go into any mental ability score you want, maybe Charisma if you want to be more intimidating, or Intelligence if you want to be more knowledgeable about dragons. The choice is yours. Now onto our equipment. Because we have a natural bite attack that isn't agile or finesse, it works just fine with our Barbarian Rage, so we don't really need a melee weapon. Just pick up some hide armor, or better yet, Neahot armor, which came out in the Treasure Vault book. It's bone armor, and you could say it's made of dragon bones, or not, up to you. Maybe pick up a ranged weapon just in case, like javelins or chakram. For level 2, our character gets a skill feat, pick your favorite, and a class feat. Now, you could be trading in your class feats for Dragon Disciple archetype feats if you want. This could eventually net you the Dragon Scales archetype feat, which you could use to alleviate the need for armor. But if you're okay wearing armor, you don't need to go Dragon Disciple. That's up to you. Now, I'm not going to do a full level up past this point, but I will hit a few highlights. At level 6, you need to pick up the Barbarian feat Dragon's Rage Breath, which gives you a breath weapon. At level 12, you can pick up Dragon's Rage Wings, which gives you draconic wings and thus the ability to fly while raging. Lastly, at level 16, you can pick up the Dragon Transformation feat, and that just straight up turns you into a dragon while raging. All of this satisfies the criteria of needing to fly and to have a breath weapon. And of course, like I said, this may change when Player Core 2 comes out, so check up on any changes. But I think most of this should still work similarly, at least. And that's it for today. Now, if your players are making dragon characters and you need evil dragon-slaying NPCs to go up against them, check out my book, The NPC Omnibus. It's filled with 36 NPCs from creature levels -1 to 10 and represent most current player character classes. Check it out at DriveThruRPG or PathfinderInfinite.com, and hey, leave a review if it's not too much trouble. That would really help me out. But until then, like, comment, and subscribe. That tells not only me, but also YouTube that you like this kind of content and would like to see more. And of course, as always, thank you, good luck, and happy gaming!